as an unwitting participant in the education reform racket, i.e. a teacher, I follow very closely to what goes on. Back when I became a teacher, we had this new federal program called Goals 2000. So that by the year 2000, everybody would be smart. Obviously, it didn't work, so we had to renew it again in the form of No Child Left Behind. That way, by the year 2014, we'll be the smartest people on the planet. Or at least, we would emulate Lake Wobegon, where everybody's above average. Well, in reading the New York Times, they're again fiddling around with the system. They finally got wise and realized that 2014 was not necessarily an attainable goal. Yes, we could get everybody proficient by 2014 if we define proficiency extremely low. Then we could actually statistically get it accomplished. Schools have been criticized and graded based upon a thing called annual yearly progress. In other words, how soon will it be before you actually reach the magic proficiency goals? And if you're not marching in the right direction, there must be something wrong with you. Well, what I've been reading is they're thinking about throwing out the 2014 thing. Okay, that may be all right, but what are they going to put in its place? The plan now looks at redefining how they look at schools, redefining this yearly progress, breaking the data down into smaller and smaller pieces so that no individual, no group, nothing like that is being left out. That's part of what got a lot of schools in trouble. It's been said that about a third of the schools in this country are on some kind of list with the various state departments of education because they're not doing their jobs. Why? Because there's always some group that seems to fall behind. You can't get everybody educated the same way. But yet, they have this one fix for everything. So what are they going to do? Instead of looking at all the students together, they're going to continue to break the groups down further and further and further. That way, we can get so much information that we really don't know who's winning and who's losing in the game. Sounds like a bureaucracy run amok. Or at least a bureaucracy trying to save itself from failure. But that's not all of it. They're also looking at maybe finding some way of grouping together or finding some way to have some common standard. One of the hallmarks in the old legislations, whether it be Goals 2000 or the Leave No Child Left Behind, is this little paragraph that in essence says the federal government does not create schools, it does not run schools, it does not dictate what the schools teach, it does not mandate, basically the job of education. They're just basically the money. That may be changing. Imagine what would happen if the federal government were to actually dictate what each kid in this country is going to learn, how they're going to learn it, and what they're going to learn, as opposed to leaving it to the state departments of education, which obviously have screwed up the job because, we've got all these failing schools. It's a two-edged sword. They're letting off the pressure in terms of the timetable, basically because the bureaucracy can't handle the timetable, but then reinforcing the bureaucracy saying that instead of leaving it to the states, maybe we should just let the federal government do it all. And forget about, the autonomy of maybe we in the classroom know what's best for our kids. Then they've got some other things involved too. Expanding charter schools, the whole idea that competition's better. Well, the thing is that we've had, how many decades of policy which indicate that competition's not the best and that the state knows the best. Are they now backing down on that? There's changes afoot, but I'm not so certain that these changes are positive or negative. Earlier I've made comment about the issues of merit pay. Well, that's coming back around. To me, this whole reevaluation of education reform could just as well be called no objective or no goal left behind.